gentlemen, and 3D modelers. We're going to learn how to 3D print on the 3D printer. So that's what we 3D print on. All right. So the first thing I want you to do is make sure that your model's done. So you come here, you finish this, and you save it. And then you're going to go file. We have to save it as an STL. So we're going to go hover, we're going to go file, hover over print. We're going to go send a 3D print service. And then we're going to click on options. And then we're going to say, oh, it can't be centimeters. It has to be millimeters. And then we don't want low, crummy resolution. We want high, beautiful resolution. We're going to click OK. And we're going to click OK. And then we're going to give it a good name. I'm going to call this coin 3. This is my third attempt. And I'm going to, you save it in your folder with your name on it. I'm going to save it in downloads. I'm going to hit save. Now, if you're using another program, there's other ways to save as STL. If you're on Onshape, you come down here to the very end, you go to export, and you're going to do the same thing. You want to give it a good name like I'm Batman. I'm going to save this as Batman 3. It's my third attempt. You want to save it as an STL. And then, as always, we do not want centimeters. We want millimeters. And then we want it to be fine. We don't want it to be coarse. We don't want it to be medium. We want it to be fine. Okay, we're going to click OK, and that's going to also download there. All right, so we've finished our project. We saved our project, and then we exported it as an STL. Okay, so then you're going to go look at the names of the printers. We have our oldie but our goodie, probably our strongest workhorse, the Replicator 2. It looks super fancy, but I hate this one. It's it prints good, but it breaks all the time. Replicator Plus, and then the Dremels. I think I like them. I'm not sure. All right, so there's a difference between them, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But this one you can't print over the network. This one you can. This one you can. This one will print with different kinds of plastics, and we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so you can print with ABS, which sewer pipe is made out of, PET, which 2-liter plastic soda bottles are made out of. Those are really strong material if you really need it. Those will only work in the Dremel. They put off toxic fumes, so we don't really like to use those. PLA is the best choice for all 3 printers. It's made out of corn. It doesn't smell bad. It doesn't put off toxic fumes. The MakerBot can only use PLA, so this guy and this guy can only use PLA. So if you try to put the ABS or PET into these guys, it will break it. So before you shove filament plastic into these two, make sure it's PLA. This one, mostly want to use PLA if you, for some reason, you need something super strong and you're willing to breathe in toxic fumes, then the ABS or PET are other options. All right, so now that we have done this, we have to make our decision. Which machine are we going to use? You're going to go up and find the machine that's not busy, the one you want to use, and then if it's a Dremel, use this. If it's a MakerBot, use this. All right, so we're going to start with a MakerBot. You're going to click on this, and you're going to say Add Model, and you're going to find the STL file you just made. Now you're going to go down and look at it and see if it's flat with the writing and all the stuff up. If it's not, you're going to orient it. You're going to, flop it around until you get it how you want. Okay. Now you shouldn't need to, but if you need to I don't really want you resizing it, but if you need to resize it, you can. So there's all kinds of things here. Now, if you come over to the print settings, it's balanced. This one kind of just works pretty well. So it just kind of works. So you don't really have to mess with any of the printer settings. It just kind of works. Okay. So then what you're going to do is you're going to move your head out of the way because your head's blocking, and you're going to choose the printer. So I'm going to choose, get out of the way. All right, so I'm going to choose the oldie but goodie, the Replicator 2. Now I'm going to hit select. Now notice the little picture there. That is a picture of an SD card, okay? And so what you have to do is you have to grab an SD card reader. You have to put the SD card in the SD card reader, okay? And then you're going to stick this in your computer. Woke up. Come on. There it goes. Okay, so I stick that in, and then I hit export, and I go to my USB drive, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Miller Batman. This is version 3. So I give it a unique name with my name on it so I can always find it. Don't call it part 1, please. And it's like, hey, it's done, and it'll tell you how long it's going to take. And so then you pull out your SD card. You go plop it into that machine over there, the Replicator 2, and then you're going to follow the instructions to change the filament. You're going to, and then you're going to print. Okay, and then if it's two colors, you're going to kind of watch it, and when it's time to print, you're going to poke around on the little control panel, and you're going to change the filament, and you're going to figure out how to do that on your own or ask somebody who's done it before. Okay, now if you want to go to the Replicator Plus, you click select. On this one, you're going to save it to a flash drive. Okay, or not a flash, flash. You're going to save it to a flash drive. It won't work with the SD card, so you'll save it on there and basically do the same thing. Go plug it in. You're going to, you're going to plug it in. One of the things too, though, we'll talk about it. You got to make sure the printer bed the tape is nice and flat and cleaned off. And if it's a big print, you're going to put down some paste. We'll talk about that. Some stick glue. All right. So that's a good start there. Now let's say if you're using the Dremel. Okay, so the same thing on the Dremel. You're going to come up here. You're going to go to coin. You're going to click open. Now you can notice on this one, it's not the right. That's not going to print very well. So we click on it. We're going to come over here to rotate, motate, and you're going to grab this thing and you're going to do it 90 degrees. Boom. Okay, so then we go down there and it is the right direction. Now this one you want to keep it at 20. So there's some more options here. So there's 20%. Now this one you want a build plate adhesion. You don't need any supports. So I'm going to turn that off and I'll tell you why we don't need supports. So basically support, if you have like an overhang, so you're trying to print on thin air, you have to build like little pillars to hold it up, and then you pull those pillars off after the fact. But there's no, it's all flat. It's going to print really nice. And 20% is good. Okay, so now on this one, we're going to choose our printer. So on this one, I'm going to look over there. Oh, look, printer. The first one is set. I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to hit prepare. And this one, it's ready to prepare over the network. So I'm going to say print over network. Now you can also save this on a flash drive too. Now, if we look, this thing's nice and clean. Okay, so there's no issues, so we can see it. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make sure this is nice and clean. If it's a print I'm concerned about, I'm going to put a little glue down on there. I should have done that ahead of time. Okay, but it's going to do its little thing. All right, so if you're really worried about it, you want to put a little glue down, but for the most part, they print really good, especially if it's a bigger print. All right, so, and then it just goes. Now, again, you can, if you want to, you can save it to a flash drive. All right, so let's go ahead and turn that off. Turn that off. All right, let's go back to my spiel here. Okay, place it correctly flat side down, choose your printer, save it to the correct media, which is either over the network or on a SD card or a flash drive. Okay, so this is what the SD card looks like. Flash drives look like a variety of different ways. So this one only works with the SD card. This one works with the flash drive and over the network, flash drive network. Okay, so now I talked about the supports. So let's say now you're not allowed to print mushrooms, okay? But some kid was wanting to, so I was thinking about it. So look, if you tried to print this is all just going to flop, just sag down because you're trying to print on thin air. So if you'd have to have supports if you did something like this. So make sure that the tape is in good condition. If the printer bed has tape, you can put new tape down. For big prints, don't do big prints. But if you have to do a big print, put down the glue stick. It helps it adhere to the surface better. Okay. Okay, here's what not to do in 3D printing. Don't run anything but PLA through a MakerBot. Don't ruin the printing bed. So when you go to get your when you go to get your print off the printing bed, pull it very gently. If you have to use a scraper, maybe ask how to get them off, because I don't want you to ruin the printing bed. Somebody already partially destroyed the printing bed of the Replicator 2 and or Replicator Plus, pardon me. Don't print on thin air unless you have supports. Don't print anything big without making the print bed nice and sticky with nice fresh tape. just in general, don't print big things. It takes a lot of money. Don't print something that you have not measured. So like I told you how you could change the size of it. Try not to do that. You want to have everything measured ahead of time. Be nice with my flash drives and SD cards. Please don't lose them. Never place multiple models on the build plate at one time. So if you have a tank that's built in 3 parts, just do 1 part at a time, because if you put all 3 parts on there, you're tripling your chances of a mistake. And then if it makes a mistake on 1 part, it'll ruin all the other ones. So it'll just a waste of time and plastic. Didn't I say that? Resize a part, and that's it. Thanks.